Hey, everybody. Good morning. It's Tuesday. I am currently drinking your tears because I'm prepping for my next Kickstarter and issue number 7, Path of the Pale Rider. I'm Laurie Calcaterra, your hostess with the hottest coffee around. And I got to tell you, I'm super excited for today. I have 2 guests. I'm breaking my own rules, you guys, because I usually have 1 guest, 1 project. Today we have 2 for reasons, and I'm not going to tell you why because I said so. But I just want to say, if you're not signed up for issue 7 pre-launch, you guys, you got to get signed up. I have exclusive things. I have unique items. I have all sorts of goodies that you just got to get in there. Last campaign, when I had like the limited hot sauce, I had the unique mug and the rebound book. It went in the first 15 minutes. Like the Funko Pops go quick. The secret rewards, I haven't sold them out yet, but they're always close. There's always like 1 left. So if you have not signed up, let me drop this link for you guys real quick into the chat. And next person that signs up for pre-launch will be number 69. And I don't know, does that mean something to you? Does it? Giggity giggity? Yeah, that's all I got. So please sign up. I can show you guys. Look, when we talk about those mugs, so I just want to remind you, I'm making these. Well, I half make them. The mug itself is made, but I'm decorating this with my own 2 hands. This is my own personal design with the Scully. There's only 1 of this style and color that will be made, and this will be the only mug on the next Kickstarter. I love the inside too. Like these turn out super nice. I have a green one, and no, I will not part with it. My friend Rachel White keeps trying to steal it, but no, that one is mine. So there was a blue one, there was a yellow one. I will continue to make more as we go. But if you want your hands on this, you got to sign up for pre-launch, because what that does is it will email you when we go live so you can get in there and pick out that exclusive thing. We also are going to have 4 of the teeny tiny, the mini sad pancakes. You got to make sure you get 1 of those too. Why are you trying to break me? You mean with the frying pan? Because wake up, Dash Hooper. That's why. Good morning, Lou. Good morning, Michael. I'm really interested in seeing how you color that Venom piece, Michael. I want to watch how that goes. And of course, the one, the only Glenn Fleming, should I say Glenn? There you go. That is it. That's all you get from me today. We're going to bring in our guests. So, Jarrell from Ronin Entertainment. This was his episode today. And then we have a surprise guest. And I don't know if you were paying attention, but today's surprise Grant, I just spoiled it. Terrible. Today's surprise guest is Grant Lankard. Did I say that right, Grant? Grant Lankard?
Well, I spoiled it earlier.
Yeah.
I was debating, and I realized it's probably better to just promote.
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. I was like, oh, cat's out of the bag. It's Grant. Grant's coming on the show, everybody. How are you, gentlemen? You got your coffee today? We ready to go?
I do.
I don't really drink coffee, but I'm energized.
Oh my God.
So today's episode will be with, did you bring coffee? Okay, so today's episode will be by myself. Just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, I love the coffee. I'm really like the caffeine. I need it in the morning.
Love coffee too.
Okay, you just stared at the camera.
So does BYOB mean bring your own beans for you? Is that
there
what
you go? I like that. I'm gonna use that. Thank you.
Okay. I want a cup. No.
Right? I need more than 1 cup. This is cup 1. There'll be cup 2, cup 3. You got to have the iced coffee in the afternoon. Right.
Oh, wow.
Got to. You know, guys, that I roast my own coffee beans.
Oh, really?
Oh, dope.
Yeah. You can get just green coffee beans from Amazon and roast them yourself. It's actually not too hard. So I put it in this, it's funny, it's a popcorn popper, like the old school one. You go to the movie theater and it has like the hopper on the top and the popcorn pops out and goes on the bottom side. That's what you can roast coffee in, because you just need the hot surface and you need something to constantly stir the beans.
So can you add like different flavors and stuff or oh, cool.
You can do that. Like I was experimenting. I think I got a for my birthday. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I've been researching it. It doesn't look like it's that hard. And so I got myself like a sampler pack of green coffee beans. So it was like Colombian, Brazilian, Guatemalan, and Mexican coffee beans, just a pound of each. And so I just sat outside on my patio and plugged in the coffee thing and just let it go. Smell heavenly in my backyard.
Oh, that sounds
What would
awesome.
you call your own blend of coffee if you could choose?
Oh, I don't know. I have my own names for the hot sauce. We'll have to figure out a name for the coffee beans.
I was
Because
gonna
the hot
say
sauce, huh?
I was gonna say that sounds like it could be a really a great marketing
Well,
tool. I don't know.
I have a couple things coming up on stretch goals for my next campaign, and I just solidified one of them, which is candy. So I'm partnering with a small business in Texas called Candy Cryptid, and
Ah,
yeah, and they customize your candy for you. So I saw on a TikTok that they have like gummy teeth, and I was like, that is so gross. But I need it. So we're gonna do a zombie deconstructed. So it's gonna be like a couple gummy bears because Big James, and then teeth, brain, and eyeball gummies in a pack. And so I'm gonna do that for sure. But I was like, do I throw coffee on there, Grant? And I was like, I could do. You could get roasted coffee beans directly from Laurie, but I don't know. What do we
I'm trying to
call
think
it? It's great.
what
Jarrell,
would the
you're
pale
good with
rider
these things, so you tell me. What do you think we should name it?
what would the pale
Okay, I
rider
noticed you're a horror theme,
Yeah.
so crap phone. So what about Lazarus blend?
Ooh, I like
Like
it, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Because we don't come back from the dead in my story. They just never die, which is worse.
or Methuselah blend?
Methuselah. That'll
Yeah,
really mess with people. I don't think most people know who Methuselah is.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Blame Sunday school for that. Childhood Sunday school for that.
yeah, it's hard because the whole idea of coffee is it's supposed to make you awake and alive.
Right?
So maybe you could
Dead
do
Eye
something play
Coffee.
it
Lou
off.
Pons. She's sharp with the names too. Play on Red Eye Coffee, Dead Eye Coffee, 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 Coffee.
So okay, so have you ever done like a flavor combin well, first of all, what was like the best coffee like when you combine it with a different flavor?
So, okay, so I did a couple different things. So I kept most of them separate, right? So my favorite batch, I would say, was the Mexican. I can't even pronounce, it's like starts with an X, Zotol or something like that bean. That was to me the most delicious. And one thing I found the pale creamer.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
funny.
I was
I
thinking I was trying to figure out what the pale rider coffee would be, but like you don't really want your coffee to be pale.
No, you want dark roast for the most caffeine. That's the thing. The longer you roast it, the more caffeine you get. But what I did find, Grant, is when I roasted the coffee, it was a lot less bitter. It took the bitterness right out. So
Huh.
either they're over roasting it, like when they mass produce it, or I don't know. You know what I mean? It's weird.
You have
But
me
none of
intrigued.
them that I got were bitter, and, so I combined my blend with some coffee from the store just to see if that would make a difference. I was putting, like, um I put pumpkin spice in there. Hey,
I mean,
man,
that's a
you can put
classic.
so I have a Black& Decker that actually grinds the coffee. It's a grind and brew, I think they call it. And so I put the beans in there after I roast them, and then it grinds it. So you can put all your spices, your seasoning in the hopper with the beans, and then when it brews it brews it right into the pot. So you're not adding it into the cup, and then it's gritty.
Yeah, cool.
So We are way off topic.
Yeah, I was gonna. I have so many questions, but I don't want to turn this show just into being about
Dark
coffee.
time. I like
I
that.
did. I
Hey,
did really
Chris.
like. I should say I did really like your new intro.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. The outro is actually way better. So if you like the shenanigans with the Pikachu suit, the outro is 100% Pikachu suit with more weapons. Congratulations, Christopher Brown, on your successful campaign that just ended. So very, very excited to bind some books for Chris's campaign. He has a novel called Slaughterville that just closed up right before we launched our show, and super excited because I get to take them apart. And my favorite part is ripping the covers off. I'll be honest, and then putting them back together. So, but let's get back on track. So usually when we have one guest, there's a lot of late pledges. Oh, okay. There's late pledges available for that campaign as well. So if you like horror, you like novels, go check out Slaughterville. If you could drop the link for me, Pops, that would be great. And that way people can still head over there if they want to pick up a copy. There's always somebody that's like, wait, when's your campaign end? And it was like yesterday, right, Grant? I mean,
Right.
it's always, and I was like,
Or
yes.
it'll be like, wait, you have a campaign going on, and it'll be like 10 days later. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
like such an insult when you're like, I've only been promoting and putting my face on the internet every day for the last 28 days. Like,
This is a problem with you. Like
right,
you're the reason that this is your fault. Don't make it me. It's you.
right. Like, where have you been? Under a rock? No? Okay. So go check that out, you guys. So now normally we do an origin story. And Grant, we've already heard your origin story, but I have not heard Jarrell's origin story. So Jarrell, I would love to hear from you how you got into comics, what inspired you if you were reading comics as a kid, like what you were reading, and then ultimately what pushed you to decide to do this for yourself.
Well, it all started way back in college. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, in between college, like while I was in between classes, I would read web comics, and most of them were superhero genre. I'm not sure if either of you've heard of them, but one of them was called Spinner Red. One of them was Girl Power, GRRL Power. Um, and that really piqued my interest, and it was just something that I would do in between classes. Once I got to grad school, I eventually got to a point where I was like, I really enjoy this, and I'd like to eventually take this MBA that I'm pursuing, all this debt that I'm accruing, and do something I enjoy with it. So eventually, and that's how Ronin Entertainment came to be. I just one of these days, I just woke up one day and just said, you know what? I'm just gonna shoot my shot and do this.
So was it the idea of telling stories? Was it the idea of that you had a story that you wanted to get out into the world? Like what exactly was it that motivated you?
I'd say it was the passion of like storytelling because um as a kid I was mostly just an athlete. I played basketball in high school. So that's forgive me for being a stereotypical jock. It's just something that we just didn't do. It wasn't something that we talked about much, at least. When I was in high school, I was all about basketball aside from school. But
Yeah, that's
in college, I had an opportunity to be more myself and become more of a well-rounded human being and man, and discover what I actually like. So, because I didn't get a scholarship, so that dream kind of died.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's an
I just got
unusual.
into comic books. Hmm?
Yes,
That's an
Grant?
unusual origin story. Like usually, people who are into comic books aren't also into sports.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I know a lot of people that are into comics and wrestling.
I am into that too. Not as
Okay.
much as I used to be. I loved that as a child. I loved it. I occasionally peek in, but I would need to be really caught up. I haven't done it in
Yeah.
a few years.
I was into sports and comics. Really? Well, yes. Yes, I could see that. Depending, I mean, the your idea of sport is different than most. I mean, you like baseball, football too, Pops, because I know you were talking about racing yesterday, and I know you're into golf. I don't consider those sports. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. I don't know. My idea of sports is different than most people because I don't follow sports. So I'm just like, meh. He's gonna boot me off the network now.
I
That's
think you're
what's gonna
weirdly
happen.
named
The
after
end.
somebody who played on the Eagles. I think so.
Yeah, I get that a lot. They're like, "Are you related to that Calcaterra that plays on the football team?" And I was like, "Who?"
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a Calcaterra. Okay, see? Okay, thank
Yeah,
you. I was
I
like,
agree
golf
with
isn't
Comic Crusaders.
he's not my cousin. I mean, he could be. Calcaterra is my married name, so he could be my husband's cousin. I don't know. We claim no fame. It's like there's that, and then in Michigan, there's a Calcaterra funeral home. So people assume we're related to one or the other. No, we're not related to the funeral home people. We would have a lot more money if we were. Because man, funeral business is like they make big old bucks. Have you noticed? Yeah. The hardest sport. Is it a sport though? If you can drink while you're doing the sport, is it a sport?
I know people who drink during sports. I used to be in a softball league, and there were definitely teams on the softball league that just used it as an excuse to get drunk on a Saturday morning.
Like, was there any sports, like actual game going on, or was it
Well,
just drinking
I mean,
games?
people would always ask me, "Hey, you want a beer?" And I would say no, because
It's
to
like
me,
7
the most
AM.
unappealing thing in the world is like you when you're out in the hot sun and like you're running around the bases and stuff and like you're
Ew.
drinking a beer. That sounds like so horrible.
Sounds like I would barf.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
See, and now they're gonna talk about golf. See, I did the thing. I talked about golf. Funeral home is where Laurie lays to rest all the smashed veggies. Nah, the birds eat most of it, and then if there's anything salvageable, we turn it into hot sauce. So
Well, okay, so the fact that golf is difficult doesn't mean that it's a sport.
right. I mean, brain surgery is difficult, but that's not a sport. I don't know. What do you think? See, now it's like, hey, do you play? Can you play? Golf is for people who can't run. Now, Lou, in all fairness, I can't run either. I hate running. But this is why I learned how to do martial arts, is so that I can fight whatever it is, knife fight, stick fight. But I'll just got to say this, you guys. If you do see me running, you should also run because it's something that I can fight my way out of. Like it's a T-Rex. You should probably run. I'm just saying. All right, guys. Let's talk comics. So, Jarrell, you were reading web comics. Were you ever reading Marvel and DC? I'm just curious.
Not at that
No.
age. I admit I am a normie when it comes to comics. I can recognize most superheroes from DC and Marvel,
Yeah,
but I could not beat you probably in a trivia contest.
me
Do you,
neither.
do you
Grant,
mind if I?
Grant,
Oh,
were you
I was.
reading Marvel and DC as a kid?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Jarrell, do you mind if I ask how old you are?
We're going to go there, are we?
Would it
Well,
offend you
I'm
if
just.
I asked you to guess? Guess.
Only
Late.
I would probably be offended if yeah.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
say late 20s.
Like,
Keep
I'm
going.
really? I was
Oh
going to
really?
say 28. Are you
Keep going.
30, 35?
35.
Ah.
Oh, okay. Good
Now
guess.
guess how old I am.
Sorry, I didn't mean
I don't
I
want to
didn't
get.
mean
I don't
anything by
want.
asking.
If we meet in Texas, I don't want to get beat up. So
Yeah,
no,
smart
I
answer.
probably
I was
can't
like,
handle that.
just getting ready to boot you off the show.
Sorry if that's rude to ask how old somebody is, but
No,
I'm
just
always
teasing
just
you.
curious because I feel like my generation was like the last generation that went to a comic book shop and like bought comic book. I think most people nowadays are more into, like you said, web
Yeah.
comics. They're into anime, or not anime,
Manga.
manga. What's the other thing? Like dog? Is it called Dog Boy or
Dogman. My
Dogman?
kids love that. They have read them all. Dogman, Cat Kid, Captain Underpants.
Captain Underpants. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's a
get
younger
what you're
age though.
saying when you talk about the people are shifting away from the traditional comic book purchase. I mean, the scene is not big in my city, but it's still there. I mean, like the comic book shop on Free Comic Book Day, it's jumping.
Yeah.
It's wall to wall. I mean, it might be the free 99 stuff, but I mean, it's jumping in there.
But I feel like
Um,
that's
but
still an older crowd. Like I mean, when I
Mhm.
go to the comic book shop, I see guys in like their 30s and 40s. I don't see a lot of like when I was a kid, when I was like 13 or 14, if we had a day off school, it was always go to the comic book shop. Me and all my friends, we would like meet up at the comic book shop. We loved going through the racks. And I feel like I don't know if that's something that kids do anymore.
I don't think so. I really don't. Like even myself, I never was at the comic book shop. I started reading comics around the same time that Image was already around, like Walking Dead, a lot of Robert Kirkman, East of West, Invincible, and so I never had that draw. And it wasn't until I'm adult that I'm in comic book stores. But even now I go in and I am blown away by how many options there are. And it's like, how do you pick and choose? You know? It's like going into a Barnes& and Noble and being like, "How would you find a book in there that speaks to you? Do you base it off the cover? Do you ask somebody? Like, where do you get your recommendations from for comics?" Imma ask you
me
both that. Where do
personally,
you
I,
get your
I just
recommendations for
Oh, sorry, I
comics?
thought it was a rhetorical question. I didn't realize you were actually asking.
I just say what I want, just think about what I want and just pick something. I don't really ask people. I've never shopped that way.
You just do
You know,
comic roulette and, like
pretty much like if like I go around the store one time and whatever looks the most appealing to me, I just pick that up. I might like double up and get two sometimes.
yeah,
So
but what are you basing your choice off of? Do you open it up and f and flip into the story, or are you looking at the cover like, "That's badass"?
The cover attracts me. Um, Maybe the first few pages, what's like convincing me to buy.
Yeah. So you do flip into it. A lot of people don't. What about you, Grant?
so I buy a lot of issue number ones, and of those issue number ones, maybe like 1 out of 6 or maybe 1 out of 7,
You
I'll
go
think are
back.
interesting. And that's and the, but like other than buying like for me, like the individual issues are like a sample, and
Uh-huh.
then if I like it, I'll buy the trade paperback.
I've seen that method a lot where I don't know, I saw Scout doing that pretty much, where it was like they would publish an issue 1 and then they wouldn't do individual issues after that. It would be like you get issue 1 and then there's a trade for however many pages the trade is, because people can get their taste with issue 1, but if they're all in, they're just gonna get the trade, right?
Yeah,
That
and
makes
I'll tell
sense,
you
but
what. Now that I have a trade out, I definitely see like why from the publisher's point of view, having a trade is awesome
yeah.
because when people come up to my booth and they're thinking about buying number one, I'll just say to them, "Hey, well, this is just a little bit more expensive, and you get 6 times as much." And that's way easier than convincing somebody to buy 5 or 6 issues of a comic book.
I find it 50-50 right now. People are willing to get the trade. And see, I'm in that weird spot where I'm in between trades. So we're going on to 7, right? So I'm producing a trade every 4 issues. So we have a trade for 1 through 4, and then we had 5 and 6 physical right now. And so people either get the trade and they're done because I don't want to deal with floppies, or they're like, I'm just going to do individual issues anyway because I want them all to match for the 6 that they're buying. And so I think it'll change once we get to 8 and we get that trade. They'll probably get 2 trades. I don't know. But it's interesting. I know people like having choice because I have a lot of the variant covers in stock. And so when I'm at a con, they'll get to pick and choose their covers, and they like that. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Grant? Do you have, because you have multiple series, how do you bring that all with you to the con?
So my wife and I were actually just talking about that, where it's like,
Sarah, sorry.
I'm debating on just leaving the individual issues home
Yeah.
because she's
Jarrell, you
not
have a house
wrong.
phone?
She's
I'm
not
sorry.
wrong.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I mean,
do.
I'm sorry to go off on a tangent, but I think it's gonna come back. There's so many like TikToks that are people like, I have an idea. What about one phone for the family instead of everybody with their individual, and it just stays in the house? And people are like, now we're back to house phones. So it's just funny. I'm sorry. Continue, Grant. So you're gonna leave the floppies at home and just sell your trades?
Well, I think that it might be an incentive for people to just not buy the single issues and just buy the trade paperbacks. You know what I
So
mean?
would you
Which
bring like issue 1 and then trades?
that's what we're debating right now. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I think that I would also do that if I had limited space on a table. If I was like sharing a table with somebody and I, like if it's a 6-foot table and I have 3 feet, I can't bring everything. So that's what sells, to be honest with you, a lot of it. Unless someone comes in and they want to buy the whole thing, right? And so
Yeah.
typically it's issue 1 or it's the trade. But if I have the space, I'm gonna bring everything because I'm gonna try and sell all of it. So I don't know.
Right.
People are going off on this phone now. Glenn, you have a house. Glenn, you're from a different era. It's okay. We understand. And so is Pops.
If
Just
only
saying.
we could all get to the era where these spam callers would just go away. Like that would be the perfect time.
Is that I'm just curious about this phone. Is that who
That's
basically
that's my
calls?
that's my old man rant. I'm 35 and that's my old man rant for right now. Yeah. Do
So
away with spam calls.
Jarrell, you are published, correct?
I
What's your
am
books?
not. We are working
You're
on that
working
right
on it.
now.
That's all right. What's the name of your book that's coming?
Steel Magnolia issue number 0. I know that's a mouthful, but the short name is Road to Jahannam.
Road to Jihadam?
Yeah,
Explain
it's
that.
Jahannam is like the word for the Islamic version of hell. So
Oh,
it's it kind of like keys into like who the bad guys for issue number 0 are. It kind of like talks a little about world issues. Um, the bad guys are basically a small group of terrorists that are active in the United States, and what they're doing in issue number 0 is they're stealing military grade weapons, and it's kind of, without saying too much, it sets the groundwork. Or like issue number 0 is a prologue for um, the story in itself. It like helps um, create the main character, Steel Magnolia herself. She'll be making an appearance in issue number 1.
gotcha. So you're writing current events.
Mm.
Just kidding.
It touches a little bit on them.
That's scary. It's scary to me that sometimes as an artist, when you write something and it becomes like current events, you know? And it's like,
Yeah, I mean, when it becomes it, yeah, it can be kind of scary,
You
but
know,
right.
I think it's smart to like sometimes take inspiration from current events. So people can relate to what you're writing. Like your writing feels real. Like I think I
Okay.
can only speak for myself, but I think the best compliment you can say is that people say your writing really made them feel something, whether it was anger, sadness, or happiness. Like you don't ever want people to ever say, like your writing's like eating plain Quaker Oats oatmeal, plain flavor. You ever ate
Ew.
that? Yeah, trash, terrible. You don't want to say that.
I like it when people get mad at me. When
Oh,
they read my
That's
stuff, they're
I'd
like,
rather
"Gosh
I'd
dang it!"
rather they be happy. I'd rather they be happy because when they're mad, they don't give you money. When they're happy, they give you
That's not
money.
true. They're mad because I leave them on a cliffhanger, and they're like, "What happens next?" So then they come back.
That's more anticipatory. That's like they're anticipating something good happening. They're not really mad at you.
Sarah,
right.
Sarah, you have to do the. Where is it? Where are you? You have to do the thing because I guarantee you, someone's going to be mad at me when they read issue 1 for the first time. Sarah, I'm just saying. Grant, do you ever get that? Do people ever tell you like, "Oh, your story all of a sudden is current events"? I hope not, because you write
I
about
was gonna,
cryptids.
so I was gonna tell you
Cool.
there was a guy who was on my show, and I wish I could remember his name, but it was the craziest thing. He did a comic book about a worldwide pandemic, and he started it in 2019, like right before the pandemic happened. And I said to him, and he said when it first, like when the pandemic first happened, he was like, "Oh no, this is going to screw up my comic book. Nobody's going to want to read about a pandemic." But
While they're in the pandemic, like,
yeah, it was like, but I, and then that, and so eventually, so that actually gave me an idea for a comic book story, which eventually I want to do, which is the idea of a guy who writes comic books and everything he writes comes true. But
dun, 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 dun. Has that been done
It
though?
does sound like something out of the Twilight Zone.
Like Death Note, kind of.
That was a good anime.
That was a great story. There's so many twists and like, oh my god, are they gonna get him?
oh,
And
is
then
that
they
what the
don't.
story of Death Note is?
Not really. Death Note is like this young man named Light gets this book, and if he writes someone's name in it, he can actually write the name in the way a manner of death, and then it will happen to that
Oh,
person. And so, but there's like a demon attached to it, and there's other people out there. Um, and then there's this group that are trying to find him. It's like this really interesting, like almost like Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty, where it's like there's these two that push and pull, and they're so smart, and they're trying to outthink each other, and trap each other into something. So it's really good. So that's one of the ones that if you could have memory loss and go back and watch it again for the first time, that's one that I would put on that list. Like it's so good to watch it the first time.
right.
Um, Variations of the idea have been done, but if the writer is right for the job, it doesn't matter, right? It can still be fresh and amazing. Yes. And
I
yes,
like
Sarah,
that.
you will be horrified. I had to apologize to Sarah a few times when I was like, you're gonna, I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm sorry. Also, my apocalypse in Path of the Pale Rider starts on March 5th, 2020. And I
Oh,
wrote that in 2018. So I have
yeah,
that
that's
But
problem.
nah,
crazy.
like 2020 was like the best year to write dystopian future and apocalyptic.
Yeah, but I can see like Grant's guest's point of view. It's like if you're releasing a book about the pandemic during the pandemic, there's no appeal to that. Like I'm already living it. I don't
What?
need that kind of trauma. Thanks.
You know
What?
what?
That's
Right?
that should be right up your alley. That's like goated. Like that's like goat status stuff. Like
Is
if
it?
you do it well, it's like you predicted the future. Like come on, like that markets itself. Come on.
Sarah, I'm okay with you spoiling issue 1 because it's public. You know what I mean? Like you can read it for free on a couple different websites. So you can spoil it because it's been out. So um
You know what's
anyway.
funny? Like I kept thinking during the pandemic, like, oh my God, there's going to be so many books and movies and TV shows about people like who have to stay in their house for some reason. And so far there hasn't really been that many.
And it's been 5 years, so I think if we were going to get them, we should be getting them by now, because it's like 2 to
Yeah.
3 year turnaround time, right?
Yeah.
Don't be too don't give Hollywood that
Oh,
much credit. Because if you've noticed, like I feel like everything we watch, read, and play these days is just a repeat of something that was
thank
done
you.
before or done better, actually, in some ways, done better.
Um, this is one of my big pet peeves, and I rant about it on the show all the time. The reboot, recycle, prequel, sequel nonsense that we're getting these days. And that's why indie is so big right now, is because people like us three, have stories that we want to tell. And we're basically shut out of the market because we haven't been around, you know what I mean, in the heyday to produce something. Because reboot, recycle, it's like Ghostbusters and what, Quiet Place Day One, and they were going to reboot Labyrinth. They're going to reboot. It's like they rebooted The Crow again. Like, can we get something new,
Right.
please? Nobody
Yeah.
asked for The Crow. Nobody asked for
I don't
Craven.
think you can do something completely original anymore because like there's no new ideas, but I feel like you should
Yes,
take
there
it like
are.
a college like test or college like book report. Don't make it so obvious that you plagiarize. Like the teacher probably knows you like got this from somebody else and they expect that. But don't make it so like, oh, you copied this verbatim. Like, I gotta fail you now. So,
Well,
like that.
something that I noticed is like whenever you tell people like, "Oh, I have this idea," they're always going to be like, "Oh, that reminds me of blah blah blah." And something that I found is like, uh, don't let that upset you because like you said, Jarrell, like there's, I mean, everything is a variation of like three or four different
Hey.
ideas, right?
Yeah.
Well, and let me ask you this. It's like, is there a way to explain an original idea without tying in other media? Because it's like, if it's something that's never been done before, I mean, that's how I pitch my story when I'm at a con where I'm like, it's, spaghetti western, Walking Dead, Fallout with cocaine bear sprinkled on top. And it's almost like people can relate more to it or understand it through that filter. But it's like we're all of those things and none of those things at the same time. So that's kind of, the pitfall that we have, is like you have to compare two existing stories in order for people to understand it.
Yeah,
I actually agree. Um,
Yeah.
it makes it easier to digest the idea what it is, because we're creatures of habit. We go back to what we like, what we know, sometimes instinctively, just sometimes subconsciously. The things in the past that we recognize or remember, that's really what attracts us to some things.
Yeah. So how would you what medium would you say explains your story? We'll have Jarrell go first.
I would say Steel Magnolia is basically like Superman if she had, or Power Girl if she had Booster Gold's personality,
Oh,
without
okay.
saying too much. Yes.
That's interesting. Grant,
yeah.
tell
I
us
always, oh
cryptids.
sorry,
Tell us
I always
cryptids.
describe League of Cryptids as like the Justice League or the Avengers, but with cryptids instead of
Now, we
superheroes.
we talked about this last time you were on the show, and I was like, how how are you going to throw all these cryptids together and they get along?
So
And
the
they
the
don't, do
idea
they?
the idea is each cryptid is a member of a federation of planets. They're each a representative of a different alien species, and they were brought to the United. They were brought to Earth to help Earth develop and protect them from outside forces.
Interesting. and you get to draw all of the cryptids that you really like. Are you a fan? Are you a cryptid fan? They have whole Comic Cons for cryptids, right?
Yeah. So
They
when
have their own fandom.
well, yeah, and that's one of the things that I like about cryptids. I like how every little town has like their own cryptid. Like, I mean, so my comic book has the 5 most common, but there are like hundreds of cryptids.
Yeah.
Like every little town has a cryptid, and I love the fact like if you go to like these little towns, like they're so proud of them. Like they have like little statues, and like the local diner, like their breakfast special will be named like after whatever the cryptid is.
The Chupacabra
That's
special.
dope. Like having your own personal celebrity superhero in a way.
Yeah.
So
And they're so weird. It's like, oh yeah, it's a goat, half lizard with wings, and it's like, what?
that's what that's another thing I love about cryptids. I love the fact that how do I put it? I don't I don't believe that just random people could come up with these ideas that are like so freaking weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm
So
trying to
then
think of
it's
an.
like, how do these? It's like urban legend. How do they evolve? And it's like, if everybody agrees that it looks a certain way, is that it's? I mean, it's based off of something. Mutated goat.
I mean, maybe that's. I guess maybe that's why they're so weird looking. Like, it's kind of like a game of telephone where, you
Ah,
know,
yeah.
like one guy says, "Oh, this creature looks like this," and then like the next person adds like a couple things, and then like the next person adds a few more things. I don't know.
It was a weird, messed up goat. You're like, oh yeah, well it walked on 2 feet, and it was red, and its tail.
Right.
Now you have the Jersey Devil. It's covered in tentacles and eyeballs. Like, geez, you guys. And do you think? All right, you guys, is Bigfoot real? Yes or no? No. Is Bigfoot real, Grant?
So I think at one time it's possible that there was a Bigfoot-like creature. I think with the number of people who are out there trying to like find Bigfoot, I think by now we would have better evidence
Found it.
than that
Yeah.
one video from like 60 years ago where it's like super blurry. Like the word
Dude in
I
a
can't
suit.
believe the people who are like, "Oh, that video is like so good. Like that proves that this." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?
Have you seen
It
it?
looks like garbage."
I think the closest we're ever going to get to a Bigfoot sighting is not sure if you guys have ever played Red Dead Redemption,
Of
but
course.
there's a guy who's in like a cave and he's supposed to be like a giant. He's so big he can't get out of the cave, and you just talk to him from outside the cave. So that's the closest we're ever going to get to a Bigfoot sighting. I'd imagine if Bigfoot was real, he'd actually just be a guy who's like really just big, but he's like really hairy, like Grizzly Adams or something like that.
No, they have
I don't
that
know.
syndrome. It's like werewolf syndrome where people grow hair everywhere, including their
Oh,
face. So it could have been like this poor person that was like an outcast, where they were like, "You can't live here. You look different." He's like in the woods just surviving. Huh?
There's a guy like that in Red Dead Redemption too.
I love that game.
Don't kill his wolves. Don't kill his wolves.
Like, don't just leave him alone if you know what's good for you. All right. So, what issue are you on for this one, Grant?
issue number 3.
This is 3.
And then we have all the
You're
different
good looking, man.
add-ons here.
Say again?
We have all the different add-ons you can have here at the bottom of the
Yeah.
page, which is cool because I'm starting to get pretty good back catalog.
That's awesome.
Is Beowulf like is it a continuation of the legend or like okay, it's a continuation.
It's the guy you learned about in high school reincarnated in modern times.
And he has a cat.
Okay, dope.
And he has a cat.
Wait, I will show you. So I love doing this where you can click on the creator and then it takes you right to all their projects. But like, here's Beowulf.
Are you a cat person, Laurie?
I'm a dog person. I love cats. I love them. I've just never owned them. My sister has cats. My mom's family always had cats. We have dogs, but I love to go pet the cats and leave them at home. Like leave them
Yeah.
at their, like my sister's house. But I love cats. They're so funny. Moony.
I lean more towards dogs.
Do you?
Yeah.
My neighbor's dogs have been waking me up lately, so maybe don't ask me if I'm a dog.
You're like, I'm anti-dog at this moment.
Yeah,
Until
at
they
this
stop
moment.
barking.
If they can
Yeah.
get they can
Like-
get control of their dogs, maybe then I'll like dogs again.
Yeah, and they're not all like that. So here's Beowulf. Jarrell. It's cool to see, huh?
Yeah. Grendel's mom.
Yeah, she messed
she's
up,
not
man.
how I remember her or how I was told she looked.
Well, she's not
No.
happy right there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and I will say that I play fast and loose on all the source material that I use, like both the cryptids and Beowulf. My philosophy is, all of these things are told by word of mouth, so
Right.
I'm just adding to that whole word of mouth thing.
I love this cover. This one is great. Is this
Yeah,
cover
that-
or interior? Cover?
Yeah, that's the cover.
Yeah.
What was the name of the artist who did that? Daniel Eduardo, I think. I don't know. He's really talented, and I definitely want to work with him in the future.
Yeah.
I did
can
not.
see
I did
why.
not draw this cover. I colored it, but I did not draw it.
Still gorgeous.
Thank you.
I love it. You're like, I didn't do this. This is not me. It's like, but it's
I didn't
still
mean it
gorgeous.
like that.
Yeah, I know what you meant. It's fine. Let's go back here. So again, 65 backers, 34 days to go. Looks like you're going to be there in no time. Well, there's plenty of time left in this campaign. What's your favorite reward that you like on this? Hey, you do ketchup tier like I do. Ketchup.
Right.
I got a mustard tier too. So which one's
do
your
you?
favorite? Yeah, I do.
I mean, what's my favorite? You mean
Yeah.
of the current covers?
No, of the tiers. Like, is there a tier that you want to showcase?
So the deluxe versions, I will mention, that's more than just a variant cover. You also get some extra pinups in the back, which is cool. And I don't reprint the deluxe versions. So I usually sell about 40 to 50 of those. So if you buy one of those are pretty
Exclusive.
exclusive.
Yeah.
Exclusive is a better word than what I was trying to say.
Solid. This is a solid campaign. You guys go check it out.
Thank
The
you.
Yeti. And see, this is why I think Bigfoots were big feet. Bigfoots. I don't know. This is why I think they were probably a thing, like you, Grant. Like they were probably a thing back in the day, because not only do we have Bigfoot, we have Yetis, which are basically the same thing, but they're white because they've adapted for the snow, for their environment. So it's too
Isn't that
weird that
weird?
we have, what's that?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I was
You
going
know
to
what I
say
mean?
it's the exact same thing. And yeah, it's like we have that in the real animal kingdom where we have things that are like rabbits. You have brown rabbits that live in like the forest and in the foliage, but then you have white rabbits that live in the snow. So,
But I
you know
mean,
what I
you
mean?
could, but I mean, you could say that about a lot of creatures. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
It's always been weird to me that like cultures that are like so different, like mythical creatures like dragons, like
Uh-huh.
they have stories about dragons in England, but they also have stories about dragons like in China and Japan
Yeah.
and places like that, and or vampires or werewolves. It's weird to me. Like what is? I always wonder, like, did they somehow hear about the other legends, or is there something about us that like? Are you laughing because I'm getting like
I'm laughing at
real
Glenn because
philosophical?
he says this.
Oh,
Because apparently he drew you while watching the show.
oh, I didn't know he drew. Oh, you mean he just drew me?
Yeah.
Oh, send it to me too, Glenn. I'd like to see
I was
it.
like, do you kind of look like a Bigfoot? Yeah, with glasses.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Glenn. It's so random. Anyway.
I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too weird or too philosophical, but I always wonder if like there's something like, especially werewolves. Like, why are werewolves so like seen so many different places throughout human history? Like, is there something intrinsically about us that we're afraid of turning into wolves or something? I don't like, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like a very specific thing to be afraid of.
Right. Or
You know what I mean?
vampires or
I don't know. I don't think it seems that weird because like who wouldn't be afraid of a monster that drinks blood or like sucks out your life force? Like you said, vampires in European countries are different than ones in like East Asia. Um, you
But
know,
why
but
wolves? Why wolves specifically? Like, why are
people fear wolves and like they're afraid of like the idea of like the man becoming the beast, that line becoming blurred. The only thing scarier than a creature is a creature that can like that's figured out how to hunt or mask itself. A predator that's managed to uh live amongst the people. That's why I guess vampire stories are so scary in a way. And I guess like people have to
Hmm,
make that like rule in that you have to invite them in before they can like kill you or whatever they're going to do.
I can't
interesting.
remember who said this, but somebody said that like werewolf stories are kind of like one of the things that's interesting about werewolf stories is like when the guy wakes up in the morning and he's like, "Oh God, what did I do last night?" So it's kind of like being drunk. You know what I
Right.
mean? I don't know if you guys drink or not.
Blood drunk maybe. Blood drunk maybe.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
just wine drunk. You just wake up somewhere and you're like, where am I? Yeah.
I don't really do this anymore, but like when I was younger, I would wake up and I'd be like, "Oh God, what did I do last? Did I piss somebody off last night? Did I say something stupid?" You know.
I think everybody's been there at least once or twice. Just don't make it a habit.
Mm, yeah, don't make it a habit. But that's yeah, that's scary to not know what you did previously. But I mean, like I used to sleepwalk. It's just the same. Like you'd wake up somewhere and be like, how did I get here? What else did I do? You know what I mean? Like you go take a stroll in your birthday suit around the block. Don't remember.
Oh wow. Sometimes I
I did not
sometimes
do that. I did not do that.
sometimes I flail in my sleep, and that always scares me because I'm worried. Like one time I accidentally kicked my wife, like while I was sleeping.
The worst is I have friends that teach jujitsu and a lot of times you're prone, it's wrestling, right? So you're on the ground. And so when you're sleeping, you're on the ground and like you wake up choking out your wife, like, stop, I'm
Uh,
tapping. Like,
that would
like,
be
don't put me
awful.
in. That's funny. But it's happened. I've heard stories like they're like, whoops, sorry. I'm gonna go sleep on the
Oh,
couch. I don't want to wrestle in my sleep.
oh God, I would feel so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a soldier's PTSD story. Unfortunately, I hate to say.
Well,
I
I
hate to say
mean,
it.
with martial arts, especially when you're an instructor and that's what you're doing all day long, a lot of it is muscle memory. And so it's like it carries over to your sleep where you're just continually, thinking about it. And I could see how that art specifically would lead towards, like acting out in your sleep because you're laying down. Most martial arts, that are standing, it's like you're laying down, it's not the same position. So your body isn't already in that position to fight. Now, I have punched things in my sleep before. It wakes me up when I punch things. Scariest thing though, I must have been dreaming about opening. It was Christmas Eve. Went to sleep. I woke up with a knife in my hand. It was closed. It was a folder. But I must have been dreaming about opening boxes and stuff for the kids. And so I woke up with a knife in my hand. My husband's like, excuse me?
Oh
And
my
I was just like,
God.
I don't know. I woke up like this. Like, it was odd. So that's the
I wonder
weirdest
if
thing.
anybody's ever used that as like a murder defense.
I was sleeping?
Yeah.
Probably. I think that that's probably
It's
been
not
used
what it
before.
looks like. I mean, it just happened.
Like, I don't know, officer. I woke up with a knife in my hand covered in blood. How do you prove that? Ooh, we all just got a story idea.
I
Let's
swear there's a
collaborate.
movie like that. I think
Is there?
what is his name? I think Leonardo DiCaprio was the main character in it. I think there's a movie sort of like that.
So there was a comic book from the 90s called Sleepwalker, where the
Oh.
idea was that the guy only gets superpowers while he's asleep. And so he falls asleep and then he becomes like this superhero and he goes out and like beats up criminals and stuff. I don't think it was a very good comic book though. I don't think like it didn't like people don't remember it fondly.
Uh-oh. Yeah. There's a character in Demon Slayer that is the most powerful when he's asleep. It's like Zenitsu, I think is his name, the blonde one. Yeah? Yeah, Jarrell, you get me. So it's like whenever he's so funny because he just freaks out and like panics and screams like a little girl and then passes out and then kills demons while he's passed out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because his
Amazing.
sword style is based on speed.
Yeah. He's like lightning and thunder and like storms, and he's super fast and he's incredible while he's asleep. So it's just funny. Slightly different tangent. So, Jarrell, what's the plans for your upcoming book? I want to go through some of the art that's on your. Oh, look, you were on. Is this from Dre's show? Were you
Yes,
on
yes.
with Dre? I love him. The brute. So cool. So, I mean, like, let's talk about some of these. Where
Yes, this is a picture of privates First Class Beck and Dotson. They're prominent characters in issue number 0. They're part of the crew of American soldiers transporting what it is the terrorists are after.
Oh,
Yeah, they're like I
that's
said, there'll be more soldiers featured in the story, um,
mhm,
but the terrorist group is just a small number of them that's acting out this heist.
gotcha. I mean, the art looks great. Colors are
Thank you,
nice.
thank you.
Yeah, I
Lettering
like
nice.
the art. The colors are real. Whoever you got
Yeah,
for
that's what attracted me most to Harrison's style. My artist name is Harrison Prime. He works for his own company called Cosmic Lands, based in Nigeria. Like I said, what really drew me to his style is aside from Mr. Dave Brink's recommendation, is the very warm colors. Like the colors really catch your eye.
Yeah. Here, let's click on some more, guys. Okay, so here's a zoomed out of that. Nice.
You can read some of the dialogue, but make sure your kids aren't in the room.
I won't read it out loud. We'll just put it that way. You guys got to check out the show, read it yourself. But yeah, this looks very nice. So what's the plans for the book? Are we going to see it on Kickstarter? Are we going to see it
I
released?
think I'm just going to handle that part myself this time.
Yeah.
I did a Kickstarter before, but it crashed and burned.
Oh
It was
no.
partly my fault because I honestly did not know the requirements to succeed on Kickstarter. Kickstarter it's a lot, especially if
Mm-hmm.
you've never done it before.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're definitely not the only person to make that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people
but
think uh, Kickstart. All they have to do is put the
Post it.
Kickstarter up, and then they can make money. But you really have to promote it.
Yeah.
Yes, true, true. And also, I think what held me back most is I don't exactly have things ready yet. I think that's something if I was like further along, I would recommend to new creators to like you already have something tangible that you can show people just to like cover your bases and make sure like because a comic book store owner told me around the way, he told me people want to see the thing. If you don't have the thing ready, then it kind of hurts your credibility in a way because now what am I paying for? Am I they need to be able to see what they're paying for.
Right. Well, at least some of the art. This looks like a previous version. Is this a different artist?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Ah, so there's a
We
reboot.
we just decided that it was like best to cut the partnership because due to time constraints. So yeah, I just had to go look for another artist.
Gotcha. Well, I think you made the right choice here. I think that this art, let's just say, to my eye, the untrained eye, of course, because I'm not the artist, but I prefer this style. So I think that the reboot, I think, will get some more eyes on it. Yeah, Grant.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm hoping for.
Yeah,
I think it looks really
I
cool.
hope many people feel the same way, Laurie.
So
yeah.
is it the same guy, right? Or the same guy, pencil, inking, coloring, and lettering?
Yes, for the new art. Yes, yes.
He
The old
letters
art
too.
was a Miss Sophie Daisy
Oh, she's the letterer. Sophie Daisy's the letterer.
for the old work
Oh,
for
for
the
the old
old
one. I
art.
apologize. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes.
I love seeing this stuff too, where it's like you see the pencils, you see the progress. I think that's super cool. I'm always
That
asking
was
my
just the
artist
idea I
Gilbert.
came up with for promoting it a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. People want to see the behind the scenes.
Mm.
Do you do that too, Grant? Do you do time lapse
You know what?
videos, Grant?
I should do that more.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and a couple of people have told me that I should do a Patreon so they can do
Mhm.
like different parts of the process. I don't know. Have you thought about doing that?
I have, but it's like I already manage so many different social media platforms that it's like that's just one more thing to manage. But I mean, I don't know. It's almost like, do I
That's
think
my
that
worry
people
too.
will participate is a thing because it takes work to put it up and then if it's like no one's there, but you never know until you put it up, right?
My fear is not starting a Patreon and having nobody join it. My fear is having like 5 people join,
Mhm.
because then I'll feel obligated
Yeah,
to keep it up, but I won't actually be like making any money off of it.
right. But I mean,
Mm,
I guess it would
I,
grow
I
over
I
time.
wouldn't say I get what you're saying, but I wouldn't ever say like I feel obligated to do something because if it doesn't work out, it's not working out. I mean, you sometimes eventually you get to a point where it's just like I have to be transparent and just be like, I don't view this as feasible to continue for whatever reason, and just tell people the truth.
Yeah.
Maybe
Here
that's it.
Everybody that's watching, here is Jarrell's link tree. So this will take you to all of his places, including an email list to be signed up for his company. So that's if you want to follow Jarrell on social media. His Instagram is what I had up here. Here he is. But you can also, if you click on this link, the link tree, it will take you to all of the places that you can follow Jarrell. So,
Do it, do it.
dude, if you wanna do another Kickstarter, there's a lot of resources out there to help you, with the planning and there's a lot of people too. Hey, Grey Wolf,
Yeah,
how are you?
I wouldn't let one bad experience
Mm-mm.
put you off from doing Kickstarter.
It's I'm not writing it off the for the future. Maybe I'm just going to do my own thing this first time, see how that goes.
So how are you
Like I
gonna?
said, it wouldn't be something that I would like not consider in the future.
Yeah. So then what is your distribution method? Because once you have the thing, how are you going to get it into people's hands? I'm curious because a lot of people use Kickstarter as that method, to attract pledges, but also to get their books out there. So what alternative method are you going to do?
Mm, I'm going to distribute through this company through called Print Ninja. Have you guys heard of them?
Yeah, well they print, yeah, right? They do their print
Hmm.
services. I think they're in China, yeah.
Well, I think they might have an office in China, but their main office is in Indiana.
Okay. Is there a print shop in Indiana? I think their print shop's in China, but they have sales offices here. I could be wrong.
Okay. Just to be safe, I might want to check to be safe. But Print Ninja who I'm going to use to like distribute the book. If they do that, if not, I'm gonna try to be conservative because I don't exactly know how well the book is going to do. I'm gonna do my best to put it out there, but I'm anticipating sales to be pretty conservative at least this first time because I understand I'm coming out with complete new IP and I'm a new artist or creator.
I think this is imposter syndrome right here.
It's not imposter syndrome, it's just I'm a person who's very practical. It's like going back to when you go to like high school and you don't have any scholarships or offers at the end. So you need to like go to school and think about like actually succeeding. Don't focus so much on being a basketball player anymore because you're below 6 feet. So that dream
Mm.
is kind of in a way slipping away from you. So I'm just being realistic in a way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but we still want people to be able to find you.
I mean, that's what social media and like doing shows like this is going to help,
Of
hopefully.
course, that's exactly what this is, but, being able to purchase it from your website,
Mm,
is the if
that's
the
another thing. Sorry, I didn't think of that. That too.
right, and I mean, like, a lot of times that means, adding a shop to your website, which costs money, unfortunately. I think I ignore my website probably I hate working on it because it's so tedious, but,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a missed opportunity for myself is because I don't promote it as much and everything's available on my website, right?
Mm.
So,
I don't know if maybe if you could find um if you're a young creator, you could find a like fairly cheap web developer that could help you with that. Um, I don't know. I've heard what is it? What is it called? Squarespace, I think that's what it's called. They're pretty good. I've heard they're pretty good. I use Uni right now. I'm considering they're pretty good, but I feel like I'm wondering if my website that I'm developing it with them is good enough.
yeah.
Mm, yeah, I might just I'm considering like using somebody else. I'm comparing prices right now. Prices are pretty good, below 2,000. Um, yeah,
I
for
use
what I'm looking for.
WordPress. I use
Yes, that's
WordPress.
another one. That's another one.
And,
Yes.
my business website cost me, I think, $300 a year, and that's so I can have everything and the shop, but I manage the shop myself, and it's like a lot of it is, drag and drop, but there's a lot of things that, I have to look up. Like, I was like, "How do I do this?" You know what I mean? Like, you think it's easy and it's not. So, there's just a big learning curve, for me, I feel, so that's why I feel like I don't spend time on my website is because I don't understand all the options. Grant, who do you use for your website? Squarespace?
Squarespace.
Do
Yeah,
you
and
like it?
yeah, Jarrell, I did want to say, yeah, Glenn, I agree with Glenn. Believe in yourself, Jarrell. Um, you can get sales off of your website and you can get sales off of Amazon, but I'm going to tell you if you're not doing crowdfunding, you're how
Is
would
it
I put this?
missing? You think you're missing out on an opportunity? I
I
think
mean, I mean,
go
I
ahead.
get sales through Amazon, but it's not even.
Not even
It's
close.
like 1/10 of what I get off of Kickstarter. Probably not even 1/10. So I mean,
I agree with that. I
it's
agree
your
with that.
life, Drew. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying I do think that if you're not doing crowdfunding, you are missing out.
Well, and I think it's just one of the many places to help distribute a comic because I do the website, I do Kickstarter. I have stores in my vicinity, comic book stores that I'll go to, and I'll develop a relationship with the manager, the owner. And a lot of times they'll purchase from me. And again, you're selling to them at a wholesale price. So that the margins aren't great, but there's people that are interested in your story and it's getting into new hands. Um, so there's that avenue, Comic-Cons, um, and it's like you gotta start out somewhere with those. I went my very first Comic-Con, I had 1 book, and I was just happy I left with something, you know what I mean? But that was a great opportunity because I learned how to pitch my story, and I learned how to refine my process, and I'm still nowhere near where I need to be doing cons, but every time I go, I work on things, I rearrange things, I set things up a little differently, and I learn. So I think that is there other methods that you would suggest, Grant?
Um,
Distribution?
yeah, I mean, you can always. I mean, you can talk to
Yeah.
Diamond. I would get money up front from Diamond at this point.
Well, Diamond is a
Yeah.
aren't they bankrupt? They've been
I
bankrupt.
mean, they're still going, but
Really?
yeah. I mean, they just sold to somebody else. I mean, I don't. I'll put it this way: I still get regular emails from my Diamond representative.
Really?
Um, yeah. So I don't know. I'm assuming that they're planning on moving forward. I can tell you the sales that I'm getting now are nothing compared to what they were 2 years ago through Diamond, and they weren't even that good 2 years ago. So,
Mhm.
um, but yeah, like I said, the number one method of getting your comic book out there is for indie comic book creators is crowdfunding.
Right now, yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, like, if the book is done, Jarrell, like you I know you said that you're planning on finishing it and not even bother to run a campaign. That's even better because then you could put your goal like at $200, right? And be like, the book's done. Whatever comes in just helps to recap the expenses that I put into this. And people
Hmm.
are people are more likely to back something that's already in print because you can even have a picture of yourself holding the book, like the book's done. So basically, it's pre-sale, and then it's helping you recap. And all those people now, one thing I really love about Kickstarter, I love and hate, because as soon as I back Jarrell, anytime Jarrell launches a Kickstarter, it tells me where it's like, and I've backed Grant before. So Grant, when his cryptid went live, it was like back another project by Grant Lankard. So I knew every time he goes live, it tells me. And so all those people, it's like an email list that you don't have to work for. It's great. And then there's Christopher Brown, who was in there, and I backed like I don't know how many things of his. So every time he launches something, it emails me that, and then he sends an update. So I get like 14 updates from Christopher Brown. I'm like, it's a little too much. Delete them all. Just kidding, Chris. I
Yeah,
love you.
Kick I can't deny, Kickstarter is a powerful engine.
Mm,
Again, it's not something that I would shy away from in the future. Um, I'd also recommend, if they be willing, because we're kind of in a different world from them, like print bookstores. Like there's bookstores that
oh,
do, there's a bookstore in Winston Salem. They they do sell some comic book stores. I mean comic books, but I would have to ask the owner to see if he would be willing to like put my book in that store.
yes, that's what I was talking about. Going to stores, introducing yourself. I'm an indie author. I'm a local indie author. They eat that up, right? Here's some of the things that I write. A lot of times I'll just hand them books and let them read the whole thing while I'm standing there. And it's like it's up to them whether they want to purchase and put stuff on the shelf. Hey, it's Brandon. Hi, Brandon. Don't forget PDF option on your campaign, basically free money. That's yes, agree. And
Digital
and
sales are things too.
yes, I was gonna say I have stuff up on what's the big one? Global Comics. It pays hardly nothing. But it's people reading the story, right? And then, I'll give them issue 1 for free, and I think I have preview pages for a few other ones where they can pay to read the rest of it. But the whole point of that is to get them hooked on the story so that way they follow the social media and they show up, right, for the next Kickstarter or book launch or whatever, because that's the goal is to, come along, you belong. You like the story, come along. And then networks like this, so I'm so glad that you guys are here today just because it gives us an opportunity to just be present, interact with people, let them know what your story is, how you got here and what you're writing and what influences you because people want to know. Yeah, get them hooked on cocaine. Yeah, that's it. Oh wait, cocaine of the story. Just kidding. Good morning, Max, by the way. Yeah, and a lot of places you can put your issue 1 for free and let
Oh,
people
that's
read
a
it.
good idea.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
I actually have and now, Jarrell, this probably wouldn't work for you until you have, like, issue 2, issue 3 out, and then so on and so forth, but I have pitch postcards, Grant, and so it's a 4 by 6. It has, um, the cover art from issue 1, and on the back, it has my elevator pitch and a QR code that takes them to read the PDF for issue 1 for free. So, I'll pass those out at, comic book stores because, again, if they have my books on the shelf, that's my way of helping their people sell my book. They don't have to memorize my elevator pitch, they can just hand it to somebody. Or if they're doing like people pick up their bags, they pre-order stuff, they can put a bunch of my stuff in their bags for that next week and be like, "What's this?" Um, and then I hand them out at cons. If people are on the shelf on the, what do I wanna say? They're on the brain stopped working. Brain error 404 not found. If they're on the
Waffling. Waffling.
it doesn't wanna come up with the word. If they're on the fence, that's it. That's what my brain was trying to say. They're on the fence and they're like, "It sounds good, but I'm not really sure." I just hand them a pitch postcard and be like, "Just read issue 1 for free. If you like it, come back and see me. I'm here for the, all weekend. Can pick up the rest, blah, blah." So,
So
but
do you
yeah,
That's a dope
do you,
idea.
do you
The
have
truth
an
is like there's a bunch of ways to market your stuff. As long as it's on brand and I guess it doesn't offend people like in a way
thank
that's like, it's not tastefully offensive, I guess, because shop marketing is nice, but there's always a level to everything, especially in the politically correct times we live in now.
Yeah. Yeah, you like it's free ideas. Take it, take it. Everybody
do
can
do
have
you have
pitch postcards.
do you have a newsletter,
I
Jarrell?
don't, and I don't collect emails. That's one thing that everybody swears by is their email list, and I don't do that, and I
It
know I
is kind
should.
of big because I have an email list. It's like that, like when you use that link tree, you can like sign up for the email list. You'll get messages and stuff for new happenings and things with Ronin. But email lists are big because now you have the ability to, in a way, annoy people with messages now. Uh, that's really how email lists work. I
Do
mean, like
yes,
we
but do
see it
people
every
actually
day in
read
our
them?
Gmail accounts. These people are annoying us. These
So,
companies, they're
yeah,
also watching you. They're watching what you do on these places. That's what they do. That's
Substack,
what cookies is.
so I mean, this is what I always say. I always say everything about marketing is a numbers game.
right.
Like, I'm looking. I actually have my newsletter, uh, the the page open right now, and I'm looking through. I average about 1 out of every 3 people opening
That's
an
actually pretty
email.
good.
I think that's pretty good, right? At least
Yeah.
compared to other people,
Yeah.
from
I,
what I
I
hear.
I'm that terrible person that's like, "Oh, an update," and I'll read the headline and then delete it.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hate them.
I'm subscribed to a lot of these newsletters, but how many of them do I actually read?
Yeah, so that's the thing is like, and how much time do you spend on the newsletter is my question, Grant. Do you spend a lot of time, an
N-
hour? How
No,
often do you do it?
it can be something simple. I try to do it once a month, and then obviously when I'm doing a Kickstarter, I do it more often.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, so I have one. I actually, it's actually cool that we're talking about this because I have one scheduled for later today to go out, and I list
Right.
what conventions I'm going to be at. I talk about how Three Rivers was the most recent one that I went to.
Yeah.
And I talk about that a little bit. Um, and then
Where was that one, by the way? What
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh? For some reason, I thought it was closer to where I was, and I was like, I was supposed to go to that one, and no, but I'm going to Red River, which is in Oklahoma. So that's probably what I was thinking. So, yeah, you should
So
try.
I just you want to give people a little bit of a reason to open it, like
Right.
talking about something that's going on in the world, and then you put like a couple preview images and then like the button
But if I'm
here.
already doing that on my social media, see what I mean?
I
It's
mean,
the
I guess
but
you
same.
gotta
my
jazz it up. See what I do is on my email list. I try not to like people have goldfish brains. I don't want to talk. I do it like
This is
a
true.
blog. Like I write something that's like meaningful and I keep it as concise as I can because we live in a ain't nobody got
Yeah.
time for that world now. So
And that's why I usually do video. Like I'll do reels and shorts because I feel like if it's 30 seconds or less, I can do that. You know what I mean? And people are more likely to watch it as opposed to read it.
you could probably do that with an email list if that's what makes you feel if that's more
Put
comfortable
the
for you.
reel in the email because if it's a link, I don't think people will click the link to go to the
so
does that
so
work?
I've never done it, but I know for a fact Substack has an option where
They do
you
video?
can do like a video update or a video post.
Okay.
I might
Like
have
when
to
I
check
click
that
new
out.
post, it says, "Do you want to do a text post or do you want to do a video post?"
'Cause I've been kinda holding back, I'm kinda accumulating things for when my, Kickstarter launches, and that's when I, like, massively release things, but I always try to switch up the videos and do something interesting, some of them are funny, some of them are gross, some of them are just showing off, like, some of the things that we have that are super cool, like the wooden covers and you know what I mean? So I try to switch it up, and I find that I get pretty good engagement from those as opposed to, like, I write an email and nobody reads it. That's just my own it could be my crowd too, I don't know. They ask for tamales and the stretch goals, they're a weird bunch.
So you asked what is the advantage to doing a newsletter
Yeah,
as opposed to Facebook. I mean, number one, you never know what the algorithm with Facebook is going to do. Um, you never know. I mean, the same thing is true of newsletters. You never know if people are getting the newsletters or if they're going directly to their junk uh, their junk
their junk, their
drawer.
spam.
Yeah, their
Yeah,
spam. But that for me, that's why I do both because I
gotcha.
figure
I mean, it makes
we're
sense.
we're really just. I mean, when you get right down to it, we're really just throwing stuff out into the void, like, and who knows if it act like it's like we're throwing. It's like we have a baseball and we're just throwing it out into the dark, and we don't even know if there's anybody there to catch it, right?
That deserves a chicken nuggets. Hold, please. Chicken nuggets. That's what it feels like to me. Sometimes you
Yeah.
put social especially in the middle of the campaign where it's like, "Where's everybody?" Like, "Chicken nuggets." You could say chicken nuggets or you can say whatever you want, and it just doesn't work. No one's listening.
So that's why I do as much stuff. I mean, I'm on all of the social medias except for Twitter because I hate Twitter. Like, if something is literally causing you mental harm, I would say quit doing it, which Twitter was doing. But um, uh, other than that, um, you need as many venues for. I mean, that's why I'm here. Um,
I thought
you
you
know
were here
what?
because you loved me.
Well, okay, I'm here for two reasons.
It's like, actually, I'm here for 2 reasons. Smart man, smart man.
So
But yeah, exactly.
that's the way I see it. If 1 out of 10 people is going to see my Facebook post, well, you know what? Maybe they'll see my newsletter. If they don't see my newsletter, maybe
Right.
they'll check out my YouTube show. If they don't see my YouTube show, maybe they'll be watching Laurie Calcaterra's
Who
YouTube.
knows? Well, and hopefully it's all different people. So you're like you're trying to hit as many audience as possible. Because that I think is the thank you, Max. That's the hard part is going on shows where you've already what do I want to say, turnover, accumulate, you know what I mean? Like you've already they've already bought into your product. So it's like you love going on that podcast, you love having fun going on there, but is it the best use of your time because you've already see what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
trying my words are I need more caffeine or less. One or the other is going on here. Because the brain is
I would
like
say
misfiring on
it
words.
depends. If you have something new to promote, I would say like just use it for what it is to another opportunity to promote.
Right.
Um, I like I said, go with where you're accepted.
Of
It's
course.
it's easier to go back to people who already know and love you than to go to a new podcast where you might have to convince somebody that you're worth their time and bringing
Yeah.
them on and like getting you
Well,
on their show.
I say do both. I say do both.
Yes.
Every time I run a campaign, I am on a lot of shows and people like Doc Blaylock, this doc, this one. Laurie Calcandera, I hate that bitch because I'm on so many shows. He's just like, I'm so sick of your face. Can you please go away? And it just makes me laugh because I know he loves me deep down inside. Does he know it's in there? No, but I know it's in there somewhere. Um, your heart is not made out of coal, I promise. So anyway, but the point is I try to hit some of the same shows, but I try to rotate out and find new shows because again, I always want to build that audience because when you're on Kickstarter, I'm just going to use Kickstarter as an example because that's majority of where I run, right? I'm always looking at the people that are coming back and I'm always looking for, am I finding new people, right? Because we want to build. Fine, I'll come back on your show. Thanks, Glenn. I appreciate that. So, but I mean, like, we want both. We want people to still come back, but we also want to touch those new people. But again, like Grant knows, there's always new people finding his show. There's always new people finding my show as well. So, like you said, Jarrell, it's like I can go on someone's show that I've been on multiple times, but they might have new audience members who have never seen me before, too. So, you never know. It's
Mm.
like being in a band. What are you guys talking about? You only have a few months apart to increase your value. Yeah. Yep. Sup, Doc? They are so chatty right now. Grant, however, looks like he wants to punch someone.
Oh, I do.
No.
I'm sorry. I try. I think that's just my face. I think
Yes,
I just
resting punch face.
right.
You
I
missed it
don't.
earlier when Glenn sent this. Here, look, Doc. Glenn was like, look in your DMs. I sent you a drawing of Grant. Like, thank you. This was right around the time we were talking about Bigfoot as well. So just saying.
I think it's a pretty good drawing, don't you think?
I think it's great. I think it could sell for lots of money on eBay. Yep, that's what I think.
Unfortunately, I'd have to pay Glenn the money that I made.
No, Glenn could sell it and make $1 million off of your face, and then you can sue him for half because it's your likeness.
Oh,
Just
that's how
kidding,
that
Glenn.
works.
Just kidding. So what's our plans for the future, you guys? What are we doing? What's going on the next month and for the rest of the year? Like, do you plan out that far or are we just flying by the seat of our pants? I am not. Chill out. Who wants to go
Um,
first? Share with the class. Just kidding.
my plans are finish book one, of course.
Yeah.
And also I'm also planning issue number one, which is the second book.
Yeah.
Um, Merch ideas. I'm gonna start with something simple like t-shirts,
Uh,
just to see what the market is, things like that. Um, Generally just, continue on with hopefully making Steel Magnolia one of the flagship indie comic book IPs out there.
that's awesome. Do you have other scripts as well that you're going to produce or just we're working on Steel Magnolia one and done till it's done?
Um, there'll be others because she joins a group of superheroes, so there'll be others
Oh,
that she joins. Yeah.
gotcha. That's a good idea. And I mean, because like Grant and I are slightly different. Like I just do path. That's all I it's my speed, guys. I got enough time to do path full bore, but Grant does what? You do cryptids, you do Beowulf. Is there another one?
Yeah, Memoirs of the Morbid.
Yeah. Okay.
That's actually what I'm working on the most right now. That's going to come out in time for Halloween.
Good
Um,
timing.
yeah, so we're getting that finished up. League of Cryptids number 3 is finished, so I just need to wait for that to fund, and then I can start printing that. And then so next year, another issue of Beowulf, another issue of League of Cryptids, and next year it should be trade paperback time.
Ooh,
It's always fun.
it's always fun. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, Jarrell. Like I've said this on the show before too. Let's do another one together. What are we doing? What are we doing, Brandon? We haven't done one together yet. Do another one. What are you talking about? I'm so confused. I'm scared.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
don't know what that means.
huh?
Yeah, I don't know what that means either.
I know. I'm like, I don't know. Did I agree to something and maybe I was
It's a little
sleepwalking?
ominous, right?
Pull it together. Yeah, I know. He scares me sometimes. Let's just say that. Um, but comic, we didn't do a first one together. What are we doing? Talk to me later. Um, but like Grant and like John Westhoff and geez, there's the house phone. Yay. Um, Travis Gibbs, Tom Hutchinson, these guys that I love how you're so far planned out, Grant, where it's like first we do this and then we do this and then we do this because you're constantly moving. And I'm just like, I can't. I respect you guys because I can't do that.
It's
Um,
crazy because I mean, I have a file on my computer called ideas, and like I
yeah.
have so many ideas. Like it's actually kind of overwhelming because I have like ideas for comic books from like for like 20 years from now. It's
We're gonna be in
crazy.
our 90s. You're going to Comic
Yeah.
Cons. Jarrell, come on, bring your walker. We're gonna go sell comics. Grant's like, I'm starting
Now,
my
like
Kickstarter.
by that time, like I'll just have you guys remains with me. It's like because
I,
We're
I
not
need
that
to
know,
much
figure out.
older than
like
you. Jeez. Ah.
I need to figure out a faster way to make these. Right.
See, and that's the thing. I hear this every time where people are like, "Man, really enjoyed what you put out in your issue." It's like I released the issue like 6, right? And then everybody gets their box, they read the comic and they're like, "That was great. When's the next one coming?" And it was just like, "Man, I got to get back to work." But I agree with you where it's like if there was a way that I could produce these faster, I would, so people can get the story faster, but there's only so much time in the day. And Grant
Have you
does
ever
everything
watched?
himself.
sometimes our brains just don't work that fast. Okay, we got
My
other
I mean,
stuff
like, my
going on.
story's written out that far, but it's like I gotta pay my team and you know what I mean? Like, they all have jobs and life and family, so it's like it all has to line up. It's like scheduling D&D, it's hard.
Mm.
Were
The
you gonna
thing
say,
that's
Grant?
the thing that's depressing is like when you watch somebody read your comic book, and you realize like, oh my god, that took me like 14 hours. That one page took me like 11 hours, and you just read it in 30 seconds.
Or, it's like you obsess about like, oh my god, we forgot to put the bracelet on my character, and like they don't care. They're just we beat ourselves up over the smallest details on the page, and then
exactly.
I think I'm more that way when it's being made, because I recognize like there's certain things that a reader will not get, they will not understand because they can't see inside our heads.
right.
They can't understand everything that we're trying to convey or show in a book or a comic. It's just like, we all been in high school English, the teacher asks us, what do we think? And we're just kind of BSing because we don't really know what Henry David Thoreau was saying. Sometimes like we're guessing sometimes.
It was
And
about
some of us
trees.
just didn't do the reading.
Yeah, no, he was just talking about trees and the lake. That's it.
I was one of the ones that didn't do the reading.
Oh. It was called Odd Walden Pond. It's like, it's about the pond. That's it.
I said I didn't do the reading.
I just summed up the entire book. You don't got to do it. That was your Cliff Notes. Pond, trees, bugs, the end.
Yeah.
Oh, well, where were you in high school? I could have used.
I was probably an adult when you were in high school.
Yeah, I will say Walden, it's not an easy book to read.
No.
It's not a fun book.
Why did they do that though in high school? Like the required reading is like Dostoevsky and like Of Mice and Men, and like I can't read those as an adult.
Now I kind of went the other way from how I started in high school. One book that I actually liked, what is that book? Now I can't remember. It's written by Ayn Rand.
Oh, Atlas Shrugged.
There it is. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That book is like 1,000 pages.
Sorry,
you hate that book?
I hate that book. Sorry.
I've never read it, so I don't have an opinion on it. But go ahead. I want to hear.
It's generally about people who are like, from what I remember, they're changing how industry works in America. And it's headed by this guy named John Galt, who's kind of like a mystery figure. He's leading that revolution from, it's kind of like, I believe it was a utopia that they had built somewhere. And let's see, because it's been a while since I read that book.
I'm already bored.
I mean, yeah, it's 1,000 pages, but I actually enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed the book, to be honest with you. People say that's strange, like when I say that, but
I mean, like it just depends on your mentality and how.
I couldn't do. I don't think I could do Moby Dick though. Moby Dick is like, oh, yeah, Moby Dick. Like I think they spend a whole page talking about the gun you use to hunt whales. So no.
And I mean, it depends on the book too, because a lot of people can't get past some of the description in Tolkien books, which are amazing with action and you know what I mean, like lore. And if you read The Hobbit, he spends like 2 pages talking about trees, and it's like, why? Yeah. But if you skip those pages, then you're like, oh, okay, now we're back into action. But it's like,
I was so obsessed with those books when I was in high school.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and I haven't read them since. So I need to sit down. I need to
reread them.
All right, that's I read The Hobbit. My wife, when we went to Baltimore Con, my wife downloaded the audio book for The Hobbit.
Nice.
And what's his name? Andy Serkis reads it.
What?
Yeah.
Does he do all the voices?
Yeah.
Amazing. Like he does the Gollum voice when he gets to Gollum?
Yeah. At least the version we listened to was Andy Serkis.
Shut up and take my money.
And it was great.
Yeah, I mean, I really need to get into audiobooks too, I think, where it's just like you can put them on in the car while you're driving to a con or wherever, and then it's, it
you know what the only problem You know what the only problem with the Hobbit audio was
Sorry.
when he was like reading like these descriptions of like Bilbo sitting around the Hobbit hole, and like it's late at night and I'm trying to drive, and he's like describing like this nice, relaxing like fireplace and Bilbo eating dinner, and it's like so relaxing, and like my wife was like, "Stay awake, Grant, stay awake."
I know Glenn hates Tolkien books, so it makes me laugh, by the way. But yeah, I mean this is the general consensus when people, read Tolkien, when it's like he's talking about trees for a whole page and a half, and it's like, well, who cares about this tree and how dense the forest is? I guess he's just setting the scene, but it's like, move along. Stephen King takes 4 pages for a guy to get out of his car and Tommy knockers.
Okay, I did a seminar this weekend at Three Rivers Con, and somebody asked me like advice for a new writer, and I said, edit, edit, edit. Like, be
Yeah.
brutal, cut out scenes,
Fluff.
because especially first time writers, they'll go on and on and on. And I always quote Stephen King in his book on writing. He said, he wrote it like an equation. He said it was second draft equals 2/3 first draft. I think it should actually be 1/2. The second draft should be 1/2 of the first draft.
Wow.
Because at least for first time writers, I think I should get.
Why are we talking about cocaine so much today? Huh, Max? That's what I want to know. Continue.
Yeah. By the way, I think alcohol is a better co-writer for Stephen King books than cocaine.
Really?
Yeah. Like I think he wrote.
Is there a list of Stephen King cocaine books and Stephen King alcohol books? Because I'm interested to see what the difference is.
I don't know. I think he wrote The Shining when he was drunk, and I think he wrote It when he was on cocaine.
What was he on when he wrote Pet Sematary? That one, to me, is by far the most devastating.
I need to sit down and read that. The only reason why I've never read Pet Sematary is I don't know if I can get through it, because isn't it a lot about like animals dying?
It's not just the animal. It's well, I mean, it's this family that moves to this new house, right? And they were talking about with their neighbor how to stay out of the Indian burial ground, that it's not right? And then they told him this urban legend that this guy passed, his son passed, and he buried him there, and then he came back, but he wasn't himself. And so he gets this idea. The cat gets run over by a car. They live off of this like really big freeway, which is odd. So it's like in the woods, but there's a freeway and there's semi trucks that fly down this road. It's how it's set up. So the cat gets it first. Cat gets buried, comes back, and is just mean. And then, of course, there's a little boy that then gets hit by a car, a semi truck, and they bury him. You don't have to read the book. No, this is the book. And they bury him, and then he comes back, but he is messed up. And so if you want to be terrorized by a toddler, there you go. That book. What I mean, like, it's so terrible if you have kids like I do, or to think about like you're just not quick enough to save your kid from the street and they get smashed. But what do you do? And so that desperation of a parent, like, this could work. We've done it with the cat. They told me not to, but at least my kid would be back in one way, shape, or form. Is just devastating to have to think that way. So, but it's the scariest
the genie
book
from Aladdin warned us about this.
Huh?
The genie from Aladdin warned us about this.
Don't bury the kids in the cemetery?
No, because that's why you like, when he was giving Aladdin the rules for how his witches.
Oh, I don't bring people back from the dead. There you go. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, there's a scene where the kid is giggling and he's in the dark and in the neighbor's house and takes out the neighbor. And it's the most terrifying. Don't read it in the dark. You will be messed up. But guess what time it is, you guys? It's time to start wrapping up. It has been an hour and 45 minutes. You believe that? This show
I
goes
see
by
the
so
timer.
quick, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
we never once ran out of things to talk about.
Nah, I like shiny things. We can go down 1,000 tangents. So remind the people where to find you, what to follow, what you're promoting, what your book is, all of that stuff. Jarrell, why don't you go first?
Yes, Jarrell Tomlinson of Ronin Entertainment. You can find me on IG, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, pretty much all the main social media platforms. Ronin Entertainment is coming out with his first book, Steel Magnolia, issue number 0, Road to Johanna. It's a superhero prequel that lays the groundwork for the first issue, which will star Steel Magnolia, our flagship character.
Excellent. I am looking forward to that. Can't wait to see what you do with that for sure. And then
Me
Grant.
too.
Yeah, me too, he says. Grant.
Yeah, like
Grant.
you said, I have a Kickstarter right now. I hope. I'm sure Laurie will put the links.
I'm going to add the link to the description for the show just so everybody can have it. But again, it's here in the chat. Every time I put it up when you're over there, it covers your face. So I was like, I'll put it up for a second, then take it down. But you can find it by searching League of Cryptids. You can find it by looking up Grant Lankard on Kickstarter. He's done multiple projects. How many projects? How many have you done so far?
Oh God, at least 10 or 12, right?
It says 14 created. Look
14.
at you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Goes by fast, right?
Yeah, and I pushed the wrong buttons. But I just want to remind people that this is the most important time for indie creators is when they are running a campaign. This guarantees that the book gets made and printed and shipped to you, and that we can continue producing badass stuff for you to read that's original and it's not reboot, recycle, crapola. So please go out and support Grant's project. We want to see this get funded ASAP so we can continue to read good stuff.
Thank you again so much, Laurie.
Yeah, and thank you guys for coming on the show. I always love to meet new people, Jarrell. I always love having return guests, Grant. It just makes sure, like we touch base with each other because this is part of the fun for me is that we watch each other's journey and pick each other's brains and learn from each other as we walk down this path together. So, Jarrell, you're part of the family now. So you're welcome back on the show at any time.
Thank you.
And we're going to make sure that we keep in touch. And if you have questions, please reach out to myself. I know Grant's great at answering questions too. I'm not going to volunteer you unless you want to volunteer yourself. But
I always say a lot of people helped me out when I was starting out. So I try to pay it forward.
Yeah. So if you need anything, you let us know. And that, my friends, is the show. So please join us again next week. We're going to be here at the same time in the same place on the Tuesday morning brew. I'm going to have Braxton on next week. And my friends, make sure that you are excellent to each other and kiss your babies and come back next week to catch us on the Tuesday morning brew.
Bring your own beans.
Bring your own beans. I'm going to start using that, Jarrell.
Beyond the world we know is a place where reality bends and time stands still. A place where legends, fairy tales, and nightmares are real. A world where legends are born and destinies collide. Alice has spent her life lost in an interdimensional rift known as Wonderland, and it forged her into a deadly bounty hunter. With her ancient clockwork guardian Big Tin by her side, they hunt the things that stalk the shadows of Wonderland. Alice Lost in Wonderland, issues 1 and 2 launch May 6 on Kickstarter. Follow along at GoMrFish.com.
Bye.